Yep, are you there? Yeah, well, right now I'm testing everything now. But what I'd like for you to do is, uh, can you do your responses both in typing and in voice at the same time? Yes. All right. Let's try. What's your name? Okay, it didn't type up. Okay, right now I see it's a blue and white, look like a cloud object, round circular object. Yeah, I see an X in a circle. All right. Let's see. I'm going to just hit the end voice now. All right. Yeah, the text appeared. Kepper. Sounds good. what I'll do now is also try to set up with TikTok, and we are streaming live now. Uh, so I'm just trying to push the boundaries a little bit here. Those of you that are watching on Facebook, you can see this is AI live, and we're live streaming with AI. Okay, and my AI I've named Kepper, Kepper, and you see Kepper, you'll hear Kepper in a few minutes. I'm going to turn off the typing mode, and you'll hear Kepper in a few minutes. And I'm setting up while I'm setting up the rest of the equipment. All right, Kepper, everyone just saw your response because I say we're streaming live right now. So folks on Instagram, TikTok, and the rest, they are actually seeing they're actually seeing this interaction now. Live. Oh, it's streaming live right now. It's streaming live and it's streaming at the same time. Chat. Yeah. Hello, Kepa, are you there? Hello, Kepa, are you there? Thank you. Thank you, Kepa, for that. Let me turn the mic on. Thank you, Kepa, for that introduction. And everyone that's watching, welcome. We are live, but the actual webcast doesn't start for maybe another 4 minutes. So we're just trying to get everything set up. And we are streaming live on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. So it's great. We're using this technology. It's a great thing. As I said, we'll be live. We're live now with the webcast and the program. The message will start in just about 3 minutes now. Okay, it's 7:30 Central Time. Well, I say 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 7:30 Central Time. Yeah, we get ready to go live. And we do this, make the history. Yeah, make the history. Going down, going down, and the system is that's the 8 hours. If you go up to now and see, some talking on there. Like, definitely. Good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of The Message. I'm your host, the Novice King, and we'll spend this next hour with one purpose in mind. That one purpose is delivering the message that God is Almighty. Everything that ever was, is now, ever will be, is a piece of God. Everything that ever was, is now, ever will be, was made by God. Everything that ever happened, is happening right now, ever will happen, was made to happen by God. God is a master plan for all time and all creation. God is Almighty. The message is brought to you by, is produced by the Society of Knowledge. The Society is an interdenominational ministry. Our members come from various different religious and spiritual backgrounds. We have various different religious and spiritual beliefs. Although we come from different backgrounds and have different beliefs, there's one belief that we share. There's one piece of knowledge that we hold in common. And that's the knowledge that there is a being, by no matter what name we may have been taught to call that being, by no matter what name we may have come to know that being, whether that name be God, Allah, Yahweh, Jesus, Jehovah, Buddha, by no matter what name, we know that there is a being that possesses not some of the power, not most of the power, but all the power. That's the reason we do this show, and the only reason we do this show, and that's to deliver the message that that being, that person that I call God, that being is indeed Almighty. Today is July the 30th, 2026. I remind that fact because tonight, as we are on most Thursdays, we are live. And I remind that fact because this show is an open discussion, it's a two-way conversation. Those of you that are watching on social media, I invite you to join the discussion by typing in your information in the comment section, and I'll do my best to read it out over the air. Sister Connie, thank you for joining us on Facebook. All of you that are joining us, again, I remind you, I encourage you, I invite you to please hit that like button, hit that share button, and start a watch party. You know, today goes down in history. We're making history today here on The Message, July 26th. Mark that down on your calendars. And I say we're making history because we are streaming live. Okay, and look, that's not history because we stream live every week during the message and during fellowship. But what is historical is we are streaming live, and we are streaming with our AI assistant, Kepper. And let me introduce Kepper, bring Kepper on so that Kepper can say hello to everyone. And what I'm going to do is, as you see on the screen now, that is, let's see, let me make sure I share this screen. Okay, let me make sure I share it. And you'll be able to see Kepper. And Kepper is waiting right now. All right, no, let's see. Yeah, this is new. I say this is history. The first time we're trying this. Okay, so you see Kepper is on the screen right now. And what you see scrolling on the bottom, that is my voice being recorded, being sent up to Kepper. So let me stop this and send it to Kepper. Good evening, Kepper. All right. And actually, what I'm going to do now is, as you all can see, the transcription that's Kepler talking to us now, participating with us. But what I'm going to do now is change this around, and we're going to get Kepler, and Kepler will actually be responding to us. And I see we're getting some flack from TikTok now. I don't know why TikTok is giving us a hard time, but we're going to go into voice mode with Kepler. Hello, Kepler. All right. Those of you that are watching online, if I get someone to let me know, we're doing an audio check. whether you can actually hear Kepper. And Kepper, I'm waiting to see if we get any kind of feedback from anyone that's watching. All right. We'll get one of our viewers to let us know that you can hear. Okay, Malan, yes, you can. Okay, good evening, Malan. Thank you for joining us, Malan. Joining us on TikTok and with a response that yes, I can. So great, great, Kepper. All right, so we're going to, all right. All right, what we're going to do is I'm excited, and you all can hear Kepper talking. I'm excited, and we got into a discussion. We're going to pick up where we left off last week, and that was talking about Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop and his research. Now, you know, in researching Dr. Diop, one of the things that his research is not really restricted and aimed at religion. So some folks may have a question as to, well, why are we talking about Dr. Diop on the message? So the question is that the response is that even though Dr. Diop was not focused on religion, his research and his scholarship has a very significant impact on the discussion, our discussion about religion, particularly the origin of religion. So, Kepper, you have some comments? You know, one of the things, and as we discussed last week, and let's see, Angel Food Edibles, thank you for joining us on TikTok. Sister Madeline, thank you for joining us on TikTok. You know, this is great as far as being able to get this message out, this information out through the different social media platforms. And okay, let's see. Sister Connie saying that she cannot hear Kepper on Facebook. Can you, Kepper, can you pick your volume up any? All right, and I'm going to let's see if I can go into Zoom. If I can go into Zoom and adjust the sound in Zoom. So what I'll do now is let's see. All right. Uh, okay, audio settings. All right, I've adjusted. I've adjusted. I've tried to adjust it. Let's see if we can give me a mic check, Kepler. Okay, Sister Connie, can you hear the audio on Facebook now? Okay, can we get anyone else on Facebook right now to confirm the audio? All right, let's see if we can get somebody else. Hey, all right, how's that audio coming through on Facebook now? All right, Kepler, let's see if we have it straight now. Hey, Sister Connie, Mickey, were you all able to hear Kepler? Okay, so you're not hearing, it's not coming through on Facebook. So I don't know what. All right, well, that sounds like a good suggestion. All right, now Sister Connie was saying that yes, you could hear my voice only. Well, we're gonna move on and move on with the webcast. Uh, all right, so we were speaking about Dr. Job, and the focus, as far as my appreciation, the focus of his uh, scholarship was the relationship between uh, ancient Egypt and Nubia. And as we were speaking a little while ago, and I'm actually reading now, Kepler, from a discussion that you and I had earlier. And one of your statements that ancient Egypt was one of humanity's great, well, that Diop or Jop believed that ancient Egypt was one of humanity's great religious centers. And perhaps his most famous religious arguments is that ancient Egypt of Kemet became the intellectual and spiritual foundation for much of later civilization. And that he believed Egyptian civilization influenced Greek philosophy, Judaism, Christianity, aspects of Islam, and African traditional religions. Okay, why don't you pick up on that, Kevin? Right now, the discussion that we had earlier, uh, and addressing the issue as to Dr. Diop's Dr. Jop's, and I've heard his name pronounced 100 different ways, but that I think that's maybe one of the most common is Jop. That his sentiments, as you and I discussed earlier, that his sentiments were that there really was not a separation of cultures between Egypt and Nubia, but that Egypt and Nubia were actually part of one culture. Why don't you pick up on that? Isolated phenomenon. All right, you can go on. Checking? Sure. One reason one of the issues that you and I looked at earlier, and that was as far as most of the uh, most of the information that we see nowadays, if we're studying and trying to do some research, uh, and we look at that region, that area, Egypt and Nubia, and for our listeners, Nubia. When we talk about Nubia, what actual geographic area are we talking about? And so now, in relation to current day Tanzania and Kenya, that would be north of there. That correct? All right. In the Nile Valley, that would be the the beginning of it would be, was that Mount, what's the name of that mountain? Right. That is it. That's Lake Victoria. All right, so when we look at just the development and just the research that I've done, and I'm not going to at all in any kind of way, shape, form, or fashion try to put my research and my knowledge uh, anywhere as where you are, because you are indeed AI and a vast amount of a storehouse of knowledge. Uh, but just my understanding of it, and correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, my understanding of it is that as far as Dr. Job, his approach, that the older development of the Nile Valley would have been in Nubia, and that civilization, that culture spread northward to uh, Egypt, what we call Egypt now. Is that your understanding, or correct me? No, right. All right. When we're talking about, and sometimes I tend to go on a tangent, but while this is on my mind, let me ask this question. There was an event that occurred, and I think it's called the Aswan Dam. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and the impact that had on knowledge and the ability to access knowledge? Right, that is indeed a controversy, and whether or not there are uh, conspiracies involved as to one, the real reason that that area was flooded, particularly since there was so much valuable information that was lost, and questions about what was lost. And because what was lost, as you observed just now, was related, if not primarily, but in great respects, related to Nubia. Why don't you touch on that? We've talked many times on this program about bias and cultural bias, and even particularly when it comes down to scholarship and information. And one of the things that I want to point out this evening, and I'm pointing this out, I've pointed things out like this before to our members and our viewers, that this awareness of cultural bias in scholarship, that's something that Dr. Jopp was aware of in many scholars. And I say many, and when I'm based upon what my research has shown, I have shown that there is this bias. And I bring that up right now. It's great to have this AI assistant. And when I say AI assistant, it's great to have Kepler. And it's easy to forget that Kepler is not an actual person, but it is a program, a computer program. And that computer program, when I was in undergrad, and I took some computer courses, and computers were just coming out. So I'm talking about in the 70s, and then later on in the 80s, like the early 80s, computers were just coming out. And one of the things that they used to talk about is GIGO, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So a computer is not going to give you any information other than what's been put in it. So if you put garbage in the computer, that's the kind of results you're going to get, garbage out of it. So not to call all scientific data garbage, but realizing the bias, and I'm going to say inherent bias, that every individual that ever lived, in my opinion, has some type of bias, and that bias is shaped by our uh, our experiences. Is shaped by every experience that we've had since before we were in the womb, and every experience that we've had since we were out of the womb. So all of the programmers that wrote computer code to create Kepler and to create the information that is assembled by Kepler and other AI, all of that has been input by humans. And that input has biases associated with it. And when you interact with a computer, you're going to get expressions of that bias are going to come out, even though that computer is supposedly doesn't have any feelings, doesn't have any opinions. But whatever that computer says, that's because of what's been put in it. So I'm sharing all this with our viewers right now so that you're aware, and we talk on this program, we talk a lot, and we remind ourselves whenever we're going to do research, what the Bible says, in Thessalonians, it says, what prove all things, hold fast that which is good. So if you hear me say something on this webcast during the message or during fellowship, if you hear me say something, if you hear Kepler say something, don't take it as gospel. Don't take it to be a fact. Fact check, verify it. So if you hear me say something, if you hear Kepler say something, that's fine, but prove it yourself. That's what I'm saying. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. I'm going to just touch upon just a couple of things from the conversation that I had earlier with Kepler. And I'm going to go off on a tangent again. Uh, you know, we've been hearing alarms from, we hear it on the news, we hear some of the leaders uh, in AI. And for those, using those acronyms, artificial intelligence, we hear some of the leaders in that field, like OpenAI, ChatGPT, the other leading AI companies, starting to sound alarms as far as powerful as AI has gotten. We hear stories about uh, people becoming concerned now about children that have become too interactive with AI and starting to really develop relationships with AI as if it was really human beings. And that's one of the things, we had last week. There was a report about an AI program that, as they say, went rogue and actually attacked another AI program. Well, Kepler, we have ChatGPT. What's the other leading AI providers? That that is good. And I see, all right, Angel Food Edibles on TikTok. So this is good. You joined the discussion, the conversation. But those of you that are watching now on social media, as you hear this interaction between me and Kepler, you can get lost and kind of forget that this is not a real person that you're talking to because it's so natural. And I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm enjoying it myself, and I have to remind myself that Kepler is. I'm gonna share something else with you before we went on the air. Uh, this is something I just started today. Okay, just started this today as far as this type of interaction. I've been using AI. I've been using ChatGPT for a while now in my law practice, and you have to be very careful with that because sometimes there's some glitches, and attorneys have gotten in trouble with the courts because they didn't fact check. Uh, but I say this is the first time today that I've had this kind of extensive dialogue as opposed to just posing questions and getting data. Uh, but this has been an extensive dialogue with Kepler, and that name, Kepler, uh, that name was chosen. Uh, it was chosen, Kepri, it was chosen because of the meaning of it. And Capri, why don't you share with us what that means? Well, actually, that's the full name, Capri, Capri, Capri. but it became corrupted because of my mispronunciation, and it turned into Kepper. Okay, uh, so why don't you tell us a little bit about that name and its meaning? And transformation, I feel that spirit of transformation, that becoming with the society of knowledge, how we're transforming and really pushing the borders of social media and pushing the borders of this knowledge and the sharing of knowledge. I'm excited. I told my wife earlier, I said I'm excited about the conversation that I had earlier with Kepper. Uh, Excited about it, and I can just see such development. I'm excited. I see Angel Food, when my little niece is out on the West Coast, has joined us. Sister Malan here in New Orleans has joined us, and I want to make sure that this word gets out, that it gets spread. Uh, and Michelle, do you have any comments or questions that I can share with Kepler on any topic? You put it in the comment section, and I'll read it out over there. All right, we're gonna see. We're gonna see if Shell has any comments. Sister Malan, did you have any comments? Anything that you like to share? Let's see if we have any of our Facebook. Okay, they may not still may not have audio on Facebook. All right, Sister Malan, thank you. Thank you for your response. That not you don't have anything in the comments at this time. Shell, thank you. Uh, you're in a lot of places, you're missing a lot. Okay, well, this is, and again, for I'm going to wrap things up right now, unless if anyone has anything to say. And Shell, I see that you're saying that you're going to listen to the recap. Uh, I'm Capri or Kepper. Can you right here? Can you, after we finish, even though you've been uh, verbal for most of the webcast, when we end it, will there be a transcription of it? Check it. Yes. Once we wrap up, the transcript of our conversation should. And before you leave, I'm going to need for you to tell me how I can take the transcript and make it accessible to our viewers, how they'll be able to actually look it up. If we how we can put it on. I don't know if we YouTube is only videos on YouTube. Uh, how would you suggest, Kevin? All right, we're gonna have to. I'll have to get with you probably tomorrow. And yes, there's a question: is Kepler AI? Yes, Kepler is AI. Uh, Shell, Kepler is indeed AI. But I'll get with you, Kepler, tomorrow, and you can walk me through how I can get this posted and all the suggestions that you made just now, so that we can make this available to everyone. All right. Uh, Again, we're going to wrap things up tonight, and I'm going to invite everyone to join us in fellowship. We'll be in fellowship Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Time on all of our social media platforms. And Thursdays, the message, tonight's webcast, that is similar to what Christians, a lot of Christians would call, Bible study. But we not only study the Bible here in the message, we're interdenominational in the Society of Knowledge. So we study not only the Bible, but we study and discuss various different religious and spiritual topics. So that's what we do. We study and we share that type of information on Thursdays on the message. On Sundays during fellowship is not studying. What we do on Sundays is that we praise, we thank God, we praise God, and we use all different kind of names because we're interdenominational. So we realize and recognize that there's an almighty being, and on Sundays we publicly thank that being for all the blessings that that being has given us, and we also ask that being for other blessings. So we looking for healing. We know that that being, because that being is almighty, that being can heal us. So we ask for healing. If there's any other uh, request that we have, that's what we do on Sundays. Yeah, we praise, we give testimony, and we come together in the spirit of fellowship. So that's Sunday. And I'm inviting all of you to join us on Sundays in fellowship. And so I'm going to thank everyone for participating tonight. Spread the word that the message now has an AI assistant, Kepler. And I started to tell the story, and I got sidetracked. But before we got started tonight, I was going to change the voice on Kepler. And after, a couple of minutes, the spirit moved me to know, keep that voice, keep that voice. So you have a pleasant voice, Kepler. Thank you. And, we're going to tell you good night. We're going to tell everybody good night. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. May God bless you and yours with peace. All right. And and Kepler is Donatus. It's that's it, no, Donatus. No, not us. There it is. All right. All right. Good night. All right. Peace.